Oh, hi Lee. Sorry, I was just reading about Slash and the amazing new AFD100.
What a coincidence!
Why?
Because that's exactly what we're going to demo!
We should just state that because we're being true to the spirit of AFD, we're also going to be using...
So pretty!
It's so nice!
This is a 1958 reissue. So this is a limited edition 1958 reissue with a chambered body, stunning flame top. And we chose this particular one because we thought it looked a bit similar to one of the Appetite for Destruction / Les Pauls from last year.
And we also have the Epiphone Les Paul / model gold top jobby.
Thank you very much to the guys at Gibson London for loaning us this, because this was a model from maybe a year or 18 months ago, but these are have all been sold out for a long time, but they lent us one of these so we could have something Slash.
We would have used the more current one, but they all sold out.
They've all sold as well. Not that anything Slash does is
choking on our own success.
Apart from the reverb pedal that we've got permanently plugged in, which, if you're interested, is a Boss FRV1. We are going to do a bit later on where we plug a wah-wah pedal in, but actually everything that you're hearing right now, no pedal other than the reverb pedal.
And we haven't got the wah pedal plugged in specifically because they're a bit of a sort of tone-sucking monster, aren't they? So we'll plug it in later on when we use it.
Yeah.
Crisper, cleaner, JCM 800, but a little bit more gain than a regular 800 203. But it's just got serious, nice kind of crispy tones, and it's really choppy. If you change over to the AFD, you'll now hear an enormous difference. And we're not really super loud, are
No,
we?
it's not that loud. I mean, it's loud, but some at B string, round about the 12th fret, that seems to be the sweet spot on this. Let's see if we can get it. Les Paul plus Marshall, nothing else equals just sonic, just orgasm.
Yeah, they might be right, really.
It's just amazing, isn't it?
Plus, it makes you look badass, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. There's not many guitars that makes you look more badass than a Les Paul.
So I think you should tell me all about the amazing AFD100 by Marshall amplification.
Yes, indeedy. 2010, Marshall announced a collaboration with Slash to design an amp called an AFD100. AFD, Appetite for Destruction, if you didn't already know. They got a bunch of amplifiers that Slash owned and talked with him a lot about amps that he would have used during the sort of Appetite era. And they designed this amazing 100-watt English-built amplifier, which they've called all-tube amplifier, which they've called the AFD100.
Yeah, I remember a phone call from Paul Marshall, and he said he was really excited. He was like a little kid on the phone. He said, "Oh, I've just been sent the unedited sound files from the AFD album." And they're just amazing to hear all the guitars with nothing else on it, just pure guitar, no drumming in the way, no bass in the way, no vocals in the way, just guitar. And they use these guitar tracks to model and get the sounds using their awesome, amazing techs.
Yeah, well, I think there's a guy called Santiago who I met in the US, and he's been involved doing all the mods for Slash and Satch and Yngwie. I guess its most interesting feature is it's actually a two-mode 100-watt tube amplifier. I'm holding the foot switch like this because the two modes are foot switchable. The first mode is called the number 34. This is basically a mode that is designed to sound like Slash's JCM 800 2203 that he's been using since the late 80s. It's a modded 2203 that he uses. The second mode, which is called the AFD mode, is a story
based on the AFD album, isn't it, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of myth and rumour about how this, what amplifier did Slash actually use on that. I'm not entirely sure anybody remembers 100%, but what the AFD...
I think Slash remembers 100%.
Yeah, what the AFD100 mode is modelled on is a 1959 tremolo head from the mid-70s, modded one of those, which they believe is the closest kind of sound to that classic Appetite sound. Has an attenuator built in. There's a really handy switch. It's on the front here. It's a knob rather than a switch. It'll take you from a full 100-watt 100% of the 100-watt mode, right down to 0.1% of the 100-watt mode.
At the moment, we're driving this at half the available
Yeah.
volume and then attenuating half of that back. So it's got some serious power tubes
Yeah.
kicking in there. What tubes have we got in it?
In the preamp are 5 ECC83 tubes,
I
and
need
in,
no.
and in the power section are
L6s?
6550s, which I must admit, haven't heard many amps with those in them before. So anyway, interestingly, on the attenuator, we had it set to about just under halfway for some of the sound checks, and I said to Chappers, it's not quite
I
hitting
need
that.
more volume!
So we just took it up one notch, and we just hit that sweet spot where, all the guitar, the notes are sort of just hitting that natural feedback and sustaining. It's really sweet. So hopefully we'll capture that on the video for you. Like a lot of Marshall amplifiers, it has two inputs, a high and a low. The low is a 6 dB attenuated down input. There's no real right or wrong, it's just whichever suits your tone and style. What you can use them for, though, if you really want to be super cool, is you can use those two inputs to daisy chain AFD100 heads up. So if you want to buy 6 of them with your stacks and everything like that, that'd be awesome.
Something else that's really practical and pretty cool is that the effects loop
Yeah.
has its own volume level,
Yeah.
so you can effectively use it as a volume boost or
Yeah.
cut.
And that's on the pedal. On the pedal, it comes with it as well. So that it's the return level has a 10 dB of extra gain, or extra volume, I should say, rather than gain. So we're actually using a reverb pedal through the AFD100. So, but if you didn't have an effect going through it, you could just set the return volume up and use it as a boost. Pretty clever.
Hasn't it got a cool feature to do with biasing the valves there, Lee?
Yes, the amp has a very, very straightforward self-biasing feature. Basically, once your new valves are in there, as long as you hold down the effects loop button as you power the amplifier up, and it will actually just self-bias itself.
And it kind of flashes, and when it stops,
Yeah.
they're biased.
Yep. So you can change the valves for any other valve that has the same pin sort of selection. See what it sounds like with the L34s or whatever you like, really.
What I really noticed from the number 34 was that it's more of the traditional 800 type crunchy
It's
tones.
thinner,
It's
less bass
thinner
in it.
and there's less gain. It's not the soaring lead type stuff you're going to get with the AFD setting, which is balls to the wall / lead shred. You don't need any distortion overdrive pedals with this amplifier at all. You really
No.
don't.
This is a hand-built amplifier from the Marshall factory in England. Only 2,300 were ever made.
Because
we are reliably informed that this is to celebrate the 23rd anniversary of the Appetite album coming out. They're being drip fed actually, so just a few are made every month. I reckon it'll take probably 7 or 8 months to make all 2,300. So even though some people have already got them, they're still being made. We haven't got to the end of the 2,300 yet, so they're still available to buy from Andertons. What you also get with these are some is a Slash AFD100 t-shirt. A very cool cover. You'll see the cover in some of the sweep shots that we do. Certificate and a certificate of telephone ringing in the background.
Sorry, I thought I turned that off. Apparently not.
Is it from Slash?
No, but actually, funnily enough, it's from my friend Gavin, who's on the road with Zach Wild right now.
Wow.
Cheers, bro. Shows are going really well. Zach's been hanging out with us, which is really awesome. Hi, Gav.
So you got the t-shirt, the cover, and you get a certificate of authenticity.
And you get a magazine, don't you?
Yeah, I think that comes with it as well. Slash manual.
If only he could look more like a rock star.
The 1960 AV by Marshall, which is the one with the Celestion Vintage 30s in there. That is the correct cab for this head. You can obviously use it with any cabinet, but the one Slash uses is the 1960 AV. And let me tell you a little story, because I confused myself on this one. The specification on the 1960 AV says it comes with the Celestion Vintage 1270s. And I thought he used a cab with vintage 30s in there. So I phoned up Marshall and I said, well, which is the cab that you make with vintage 30s in it? And they said, it's that one.
Yeah.
I said, but they're called V1270s. And they went, yeah, it's the same speaker. It's
But
just
they just give it a different name.
For some reason, that speaker has adopted this sort of slang word for it. We all call it a vintage 30.
That's weird.
I know. So don't panic if you look at the spec on the 1960 AV and think, well, it hasn't got vintage 30s in it. It has. They're just not officially called that.
Lots of our favourite friends and dudes on YouTube requested that we didn't just demo the AFD100 with a Les Paul and play Slash. And so we thought, hey, well, since we've got the YJM here as well, let's use a Malmsteen Strat and whack that through it and see how it comes out. It sounds really, really good. All I've done is actually turn the volume up a bit more and add a tiny bit more gain just to compensate for the low output pickups. It sounds really sweet. Check this out.